Alrighty guys, we're back for some underplayed green, and this is a Streets of New Capenna standard build. We're going to go over the deck, then hop right into some normal play mode. But first things first, for anyone who may not know, I'm Red Cat and I play aggro decks and any decks with red in them as well, so I hope that sounds fun to you guys. Yeah, the whole concept behind this build is I only chose cards that I believe to be underplayed, and I did cheat a little bit with the mana base, and some of these cards do see a little bit of play here and there, but I didn't name the deck Never Played Green, it just underplayed green, so either way, it's going to be a fun time. Let's start going over the cards because this is going to take forever. We have 4 Deathbonnet Sprouts, a 1 mana 1/1. At the beginning of your upkeep, mill a card. Then, if there are 3 or more creature cards in your graveyard, transform Deathbonnet Sprout. It transforms into Deathbonnet Hulk, which is freaking awesome, by the way. It's a 3/3. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may exile a card from a graveyard, not just your graveyard, just any graveyard. If a creature card was exiled this way, put a +1/+1 counter on Deathbonnet Hulk. Nice. We got a couple Tamiyo Safekeepings, which might be the most played green card in this entire deck. But I don't think it's cheating because this card is completely overshadowed by Snakeskin Veil, especially in mono green aggro. And so, yeah, I think this card is terrific. I think once Snakeskin Veil rotates out, I think Tamiyo Safekeeping is going to be the card to go to, and the 2 life on this has saved us multiple times. By the way, speaking of rotation, this deck is completely rotation proof, by the way, so that's pretty fun, I guess. We have 1, Turn the Earth. This is a 1 mana instant. Choose up to 3 target cards in graveyards. The owners of those cards shuffle them into their libraries. You gain 2 life, and then it has flashback as well, which is awesome. We have 4 Willow Geists. This is a 1 mana 1/1 trample. Whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on Willow Geist. When Willow Geist dies, you gain life equal to its power. Holy cow, this card's just looking for the right deck, looking for the right home. There is so much packed onto this card. Really, really solid, really good. We have 4 Prizefights. Speaking of really solid and really good, 2 mana instant, target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. Create a treasure token. Am I the only person who plays with this card? Am I crazy? Is this card not just really good? That treasure token comes in handy so often, and it's just pretty solid removal overall, and it's an instant too, so there's a lot of interesting things you can do with this, but either way, yeah, 4 of them here. We have 4 teachings of the Kirin. Am I pronouncing that right? I don't know. That's what I'll call it, the Kirin. So, mill 3 cards. This is when it has 1 lore counter on it. Mill 3 cards, create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token. Once it gets that second lore counter, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. And then finally, exile this saga, return it to the battlefield. It comes out as the Kirin touched Orochi, which is a 1/1. Whenever it attacks, you can exile a creature card from a graveyard and create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token, or you can exile a non-creature card from a graveyard and put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Obviously, this pairs beautifully with the Willow Geist. We have a couple unlicensed Hearse here as well, so this also pairs well with the Willow Geist. So for it's a 2 mana vehicle. Through 2, you can tap it, exile up to 2 target cards from a single graveyard. Unlicensed Hearse's power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards exiled with it. So this can get pretty big pretty fast, man. I wish it had trample or something. That would be sick. But yeah, like just being able to take more cards from graveyards to buff up the Willow Geist sounds really cool. Now, something to note is if you didn't already flip the Deathbonnet Sprout, then the being able to actually flip this is going to start to get quite difficult because you're taking cards from your own graveyard to buff the Willow Geist, but it's still worth having in here even with that little bit of anti-synergy because it does mill that card every upkeep, which is going to be important anyways. So we have 4 Jugan defends the temple, and this is another card that you see every now and then. It's pretty good. I'm not even going to go over it. I do think I've played with it enough to not go over it again, but the ramp's good, the counters are good, and the Remnant of the Rising Star is literally amazing. And a ton of ways to get modified creatures in the deck too. We have 2 Storyweaves. We have plenty of sagas in here to go ahead and warrant playing this card, which I think is just pretty good in general. So for the first ability, you get to choose one of these. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature you control. Okay, that's fine. It's 3 mana for 2 counters. Like, it's okay. But the second ability on here, now this is where it gets pretty good. Put 2 lore counters on target saga you control the next time 1 or more enchantment creatures enter the battlefield under your control this turn. Each enters with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it. You can just ramp right through the teachings or the Jugan and go right into that enchantment creature. And that enchantment creature gets a couple counters. That sounds really cool, right? I've never seen Storyweave played, not a single time, and I think it's going to be pretty cool. Cemetery Prowler. I think this is probably the best card of the deck, especially paired with Willow Geist. 3 mana, 3/4 Vigilance. Don't underestimate Vigilance, guys, not with all those Wandering Emperors floating about. Whenever Cemetery Prowler enters the battlefield or attacks, exile a card from a graveyard. Spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card type they share with cards exiled with Cemetery Prowler. So you can make your cards pretty cheap with this, but yeah, you can also like buff up your Willow Geist by grabbing cards out of your own graveyard. Maybe you can take their tenacious underdogs from the opponent's graveyard, right? Cemetery Prowler is going to be really good, and it shocks me that it doesn't see any play. We have a couple. Boseiju reaches Skyward. Now this is a 4 mana saga where with 1 lore counter, search your library for up to 2 basic forest cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle. Okay, it is what it is. With the second lore counter, put up to 1 target land card from your graveyard on top of your library. Okay, so that could buff the Willow Geist. And then for the third lore counter, of course, you exile it and return it as the branch of Boseiju, which has reach, and it gets +1/+1 for each land you control. So overall, it's in here for the Saga theme and the Willow Geist theme. So I think it's going to be pretty all right overall. We have a couple Voice of the Vermin. So this is a weird choice, and hear me out with it. It's a 4 mana 2/2. That's awful. It does enter with a shield counter, though. Don't underestimate shield counters. That's not too bad. Whenever Voice of the Vermin attacks, target creature you control has base power and toughness 4/4 until the end of turn. Now here we go. Now that's an interesting ability, especially since you can safely swing in with this at least once with that shield counter, and maybe your opponents aren't trying to block this, they're trying to block the other chunky thing. So it might keep that shield counter for a while. So imagine giving the Willow Geist a base power and toughness of 4/4. And it might have a bunch of counters plugged into it too. It gets a pretty good buff here. But also we're generating 1/1s with the teachings. And the Kirin touched Rochi is a 1/1 as well. So that could be good. Maybe we didn't get to flip the Deathbonnet Sprout in time, and buffing that to a 4/4 could be good too. I don't know, a bit of a jankier pick, but I'm really interested to see if it's going to put in any work. So, we have one more card on the top end here, and it is Saryth the Viper's Fang, a 4-drop 3/4 legendary creature. Other tapped creatures you control have Death Touch. Nice. Like I just said, we're generating we're getting a lot of 1/1s from some of these cards. So giving them Death Touch is not half bad, because now your opponents don't want to block them. Other untapped creatures you control have Hexproof. Oh, okay. Now that pairs beautifully with the Vigilance and the Cemetery Prowler, right? So the opponent has to spot remove this before they hit anything else. Of course, opponents are just trying to wipe the board anyways, but still, I'm shocked that this only sees play in like Death Touch decks, which is really weird because most of the creatures in those decks already have Death Touch anyways. Is that not weird? Anyways, yeah. Final ability on this, you can pay a mana, tap it, untap another target creature or land you control. So, yeah, Not bad at all. Definitely going to be worth the one of, especially to see if it's going to be any good. So in the mana base, we're rocking a Who Endures and a Field of Ruin. Definitely played a lot, so I did cheat in the mana base. That's okay, though. I hope that's fine. We have 4 Brokers Hideouts. Probably played a fair amount as well. But the reason we have the hideouts in here is to get more cards into our graveyard to be able to exile, get lands into the graveyard, maybe to be able to put it back on top with the Reaches Skyward, to buff the Willow Geist. It's a huge Willow Geist deck, and I think it's going to work out quite nicely. But either way, we're over 10 minutes in because there was a ton of stuff to go over, so I apologize for the longer intro. Let's go ahead, hop into some normal play mode, and see how it does. Let's see if we can get right into the first match here. There was an update today. Now I'm actually a little bit behind. I usually like to record my videos a couple days in advance. There we go, 14 seconds. That took a while. I'm a little bit concerned here. Hopefully it doesn't take that long for the rest of the evening. It's a fine hand. It's fine. We saw land. We saw land. That's all that matters. Some of my test matches with some different decks, I've been drawing very poorly, so if I see a relatively okay hand, I'm like, yep, this is fine. At least I have land. Oh, opponent had to mulligan. That kind of sucks. What? Why does their deck look weird? It's like, no, opponent, come back! Come back, opponent! Okay, everything's fine. I'll take the victory. I needed a daily win, didn't I? Yeah, they had to mulligan a few times. That sucks. There we go. Now we're really getting right into the first match. That last match, that didn't count. That didn't count at all. Much better hand, too, except now we don't have the third land. Oh, there we go. It's gonna be untapped, unfortunately, but it's gonna be tapped, I should say. My apologies, guys. It's been a long couple of days. I'll do my best. Turn the Earth is fine to discard here since it has flashback. Who Endures? Nice. So we can play that untapped if we want to get the Prowler down. No swings. That's an easy block for the opponent. Easy peasy block. Yeah, hopefully I went over the deck well enough, guys. 10 minutes in. Wow, that's a long time to go over a deck. I'm actually going to put it into the other thing there because we're about to buff the Willow Geist. And Turn the Earth could have happened too. Let's go ahead and take one of the Prowlers out. Since there's 2 in there. We could probably safely swing here. With one swamp open. Nice, get some damage through. This sure looks like it's going to be mono black discard the entire time. Opponent sacrifices a creature unless they discard a card. Let's discard a card and get rid of the hideout. Yep, I think that is completely okay. Storyweave, nice. Alright, so we want to get the other Willow Geist down now. And we'll go ahead and fight here. Just to get more damage through. We get a treasure too, and I don't want them to make me discard 2 cards. And let's go ahead. We can take that, but we're actually going to take the Prizefight to make the Storyweave cost 1 less. That buffs both of these. It is a little bit scary putting all of these creatures. This is instant speed, so we're going to wait, especially if they miscount a meat hook. So let's go ahead. I guess we can discard the Storyweave. I guess that's okay. I guess it's fine. Yeah, so they have 5 mana open. They could meat hook for like 3, and then we can protect at least 1 Willow. Oh, good game, opponent. Good game. Yeah, our deck did a lot of stuff there, and it was actually... This is a little bit tougher to play than the normal mono green aggro that you usually see, because you got to be aware of everything that's in the graveyard and stuff, but overall not too bad. Like, I didn't have to think that much there. I don't know, that seemed pretty solid though, but I mean the opponent didn't have too much over there, just a couple discard effects. Didn't look like they had too much removal. And if they did have removal, we didn't have protection. We didn't have our Tamiyo safekeeping and stuff, so it definitely would have been a longer game. Yeah, good hand. Pretty good hand. At least we're milling a card a turn with the Deathbonnet here. Willow Geist, come back, Willow Geist. Yeah, no attacks. I think that would be a worthwhile trade for the opponent. What do you guys think about that? Actually, if we do end up... Yeah, we might as well. Nah. I don't plan on attacking with that yet anyways. This is, like I said, a little bit of anti-synergy with the Deathbonnet that I brought up before, but... Okay, Cemetery Prowler. Gotta get some cards into the opponent's grave for the unlicensed hearse to actually do something, you know? We could start with Prowler. Storyweave isn't bad either. Let's just go ahead and get the Prowler down. The attack is really tempting, just to get more stuff into the grave. I'm gonna do it. That might honestly take it, and any removal into our creatures is actually just pretty good for us at this point because of the unlicensed hearse and everything. It's kind of funny. Ballport, nice. So this could be a voltage surge. A quite successful voltage surge. We might as well activate this. Yeah, at the beginning of the game, the hearse doesn't have a whole lot of targets to take, but against a deck like this, like, okay, Jugan. Voice of Vermin's pretty good. Prizefight doesn't hit the merchant. Unless we go Storyweave first. But we can take out the, we can at least take out the Epicure now. Because we get a treasure, and when we attack, we can take the Prizefight from our grave to make our other Prizefight only cost 1, which is pretty cool. So we swing, and I wonder if they hit the Deathbonnet. They probably do, which we don't mind, but we'd rather them use other removal on it, I suppose. See, we can take their... see, that's tough. Okay, yeah, we'll take their Epicure because our unlicensed hearse can take both of our cards. And we still have 2 mana open here. Okay, they want to keep their Skullport Merchant, so that's good for them. And we'll go ahead and wait to use the hearse. This is what I mean by, yeah, this, you actually have to think a little bit more than the normal mono green. Now, I'm not saying that you don't have to think with that, but... Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Scary. Scary stuff. That's pretty awesome. Alright, we gotta activate this now. Boop, boop. Okay, unlicensed hearse looking pretty good. And we're gonna take the 5 here. And they're just gobbling that up for us, which means they're probably going to sacrifice it to the Skullport Merchant, which is unfortunate. I guess no blocks. A little bit awkward. Cemetery Prowler, goodbye, my friend. Oh, Village rights. I thought it was going to be land. How dare, opponent? How dare? You destroyed my Prowler. My hopes and dreams. Okay. So, Brokers Hideout. Nice. Nice. Let's go ahead and do that now. What's nice about the Brokers Hideout too is we get to thin out the deck, which is gonna be pretty good. What is this right now? A 3/3? How many cards are here? How can I like check the card? Okay, yeah, there's 3 cards. Yeah, what the heck? Let's get the voice of the Vermin down. Like, we could crew up the Unlicensed Hearse and swing in, but Skullport Merchant is just such a good blocker that it's going to be much better just to activate that ability to get rid of 2 more cards from our own grave. So, yeah, Skullport Merchant really slowed us down here. Funny enough, everything about the opponent's deck is going to be slowing us down. It's a very scary deck to be up against. Excuse me, guys. I'm going to go ahead and get a drink of water real quick here. Oh, bloody betrayal. You monster. Do we power this up to block? I suppose so. I suppose we do. It might die to like a voltage surge then, though. Yeah, that would be really bad. Let's block and then immediately activate the power. Oh, no, okay, no voltage surge. Okay, good. We might as well activate the power now since we're going to be doing this. Nice, they gave us 2 cards to take. So you guys can see how Unlicensed Hearse is just really bad as a 2-drop, but as the game goes on, it gets better when it gets actually more stuff. Awkward. Awkward hand. Or like awkward board state. I really... I don't know. I guess Prizefight is pretty good here. Let's get rid of the Skullport Merchant because they seem to be relying on that as their sacrifice outlet right now. And we could plug some counters into this, but I don't think that's going to be worth it at all. I think we'd rather them like try a meat hook and then we just Storyweave to protect the voice of the Vermin. Whoa, okay. I wonder what they end up doing here. Yeah, each player sacrifices a creature. Darn, that sucks. That sucks. Now we need a creature to be able to power up the hearse. Well, that kind of works. That kind of works. That's cool. That's really cool. We could also just give 2 counters to that, but getting a Jugan this turn just seems way better. That's sick. Oh my goodness. That's so cool. Like we're seeing the puzzle pieces come together here and it's kind of awesome. Like yeah, it was like a very strange combination of cards that looked like it didn't really work well together, but then it ended up working nicely. They found an easy way around the shield counter on the voice, which does kind of suck, but... Immersturm. Now that's a card. They need a creature to make that worthwhile here. In other words, Remnant of the Rising Star is really good. Bloody Betrayal! The opponent's deck is rough. If they end up sacrificing this, it does tap that, though. They drop us the good game. That might be for us. Because they're going to tap down the Immersturm, but they're not dead because we only have 5 swinging through. Yeah, GG opponent. Because unless we top decked another creature to be able to crew up the unlicensed hearse. Yeah, we only had 5 damage from the hearse though. That was a weird one, but yeah, seeing all the puzzle pieces come together and actually work out, that was really nice. The opponent was playing a scary Rakdos build where it was all about stealing the opponent's creatures and sacrificing them right away, which doesn't work out all the time, especially with all the decks that just are barely running any creatures. So, well, 3 victories in a row, but don't count that first match. The opponent mulliganed like down to 4 or something ridiculous and then conceded, so this is a fun one, guys. I hope everyone's enjoying it so far. Underplayed, the underplayed red video, you guys really liked that one, and so I thought, well, I'll go to my next favorite color, which is kind of a tie between green and white. But either way, if you guys do like the underplayed green as well, let me know in the comments, or just drop the video a like as well. That definitely tells me, like, there's definitely a difference in videos with how many likes there are, and so that tells me, okay, you guys really like this style, so I'll do more of those in the future type of thing too. So and then yeah, I guess next we'll hit up underplayed white then, probably, until we go through all the different colors. The underplayed red was way easier to make for me though, because I'm always looking through the red cards, so I kind of already had a concept of what I wanted to do from that. But with the green, I really had to search through it and really think about it, and I think Willow Geist was definitely the correct answer there. Let's get a swing in. Okay, so it doesn't look like a spike field hazard. That's good. That is excellent. I'm tempted by the Brokers Hideout next turn, just so Cemetery Prowler has something to take, which I guess we should have done this turn. I'm crazy, guys. Unless I kept the Prizefight open. I kind of just had a weird misplay with the land, and I apologize for that. That was an oopsie-daisies. Now we can keep the Prizefight open though, but it ends up working out in a weird way. I think they take the 2. I think they take the 2 here. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, we'll keep the Prizefight open. Like, if we lose a Willow Geist, we lose a Willow Geist. It is what it is. Yeah, so that could have been a much different line of play had I just played the Brokers Hideout on turn 2. Yeah, that's not worth killing. That's not worth trading into a Willow Geist, so... Okay. Yeah, my turn. Nice, that's not a bad one either. We're kind of like a turn behind now, but... Actually, this wouldn't be that bad playing either. With all those open, I guess it's Cemetery Prowler. It blocks the Hobgoblin Captain really well. Wonder if it's even gonna survive here. I guess what's holding us open, or what's holding it open for them, is the Evolving Wilds. Yeah, the deck, like, struggles at the beginning because it needs to get cards into the grave. And so at the beginning, when the graveyards are empty, it's kind of like awkward plays. Okay, they sacrifice the Evolving Wilds, which is good news, because now when we attack in, we can grab the Evolving Wilds. So that is good news. There's something here. No, never mind. That wouldn't have been good. Keeping our Willow Geists alive is way better than anything with that Prizefight. I'm gonna put full control on. We have one open here. They might think it's a Snakeskin Veil. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature. You gain 2 life. Okay, nice. So they get to play, they can play 2 lands this turn. So this looks like a... Nice! Holy cow. Looks like a landfall deck, but it might be some form of ramp too. We take the 4 for sure. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, we have a very aggressive line of play next turn if they swing. A Deathbonnet. Okay. That's a sorcery. I'm a little bit tempted by the Prizefight with the Willow Geist into the Captain and then swinging in for 6. Because I want to be able to swing with the Prowler. Then we can still play the Boseiju here. So let's do that. We gain 2 life. We're getting cards into the grave. Which I think we exile. Alright, let's swing first. I think we exiled their creature. Makes more sense to me. Even though we don't have any creatures to play this turn for cheaper, it just makes more sense. And we can go ahead and get this down and thin out our deck. Grab 2 forests. This must be an odd one to go up against. But I said the same thing about the mono red, underplayed mono red. Like, the opponents just probably had no idea what we were playing. With this one, at least, like, people have tried to make Willow Geist work in some builds, but maybe not in mono green. But they still might have never gone up against it. You never know. Because it is underplayed. Okay, they're going for the Evolving Wilds this turn, so they must have a big card to play next turn. Other words, you'd think they'd want to get their landfall creatures down before activating any of those. Froghemoth, nice. They go for the swing too. No blocks. They do get to take 4 cards and get a bunch of counters. And they gain 1 life for each non-creature. That's really cool, actually. Hey, nice. Willow Geist gets a buff. They're back up to 11. And, oh, they took our land, though. Aw, that kind of sucks. At least we still got the buff there, though. Right, so this is actually a very scary card for this deck, guys, because any cards that we put into the grave... Okay. Any cards we end up putting into the grave, they can take. So I wonder if we end up taking our own stuff so they gain less life. That makes sense to me. They're down to 4. Yeah, from their graveyard, so they gain less life if we take our stuff. Also, we could block too. We could triple block, but I don't know if that'll be worth it. This flips into the branch next turn. Brushfire Elemental. Yeah, Froghemoth is going to make this a longer game than I was originally anticipating here. It's a very scary card. We might even let the Brushfire go through. But they could keep it as a blocker as well. Ooh, okay. Okay. Yeah, they still have 2 open. That could be some form of removal. So they're going to gain 2. We're just going to take this. I hope it's not removal. Down to 5. Yeah, it doesn't say... They can't take it from their own graveyard. They have to take it from ours. So... Oh, they dropped us the good game. That is, in fact, a good game opponent. Full swing. And we'll grab the Scale the Heights, and that's GG. 4 wins in a row. Technically 3 if you don't want to count the first victory where the opponent conceded before we played. Very cool deck so far, guys. Let's see if we can go ahead and get 5 victories in a row. Now, there were the last couple times where I've played 5 matches. Like, I don't know if it was like literally the last couple times, so don't quote me on that, but a few of the last times we got 4 wins in a row at the beginning, and then we couldn't get that 5th victory. So we'll see if this deck can change the pace here. I'm not a big fan of the hand, but a turn 2 Teachings is not a bad thing at all. I don't like not seeing the Willow Geist or just a 1-drop in our opener. Gonna be up against more Rakdos here. Ooh, that's scary. More Rakdos is very, very scary. Also, drawing 3 of our Brokers Hideouts right at the beginning is pretty scary too. So I hope we get to Storyweave next turn, but we'll see. Shambling Ghast is okay, nice. So if we Storyweave, we do get a Kirin. Go for the Deadly Dispute now to pop the 1/1. Yeah. Huh. Okay. Well, I guess Cemetery Prowler. Even though the Deadly Dispute would have been a great grab there to make the Prizefight and the Storyweave cost less, I think that, 1, there could be a high chance of removal for the Cemetery Prowler, but 2, there might be, with this snow-covered stuff, there might be a Blood on the Snow, so taking the creatures is actually going to be important here. Okay, they end up passing. We get this back. Prizefight is pretty good, because it just lets us swing in without any issues. Well, it could still be a Voltage Surge, though. So I'd say keeping the Storyweave open is better. This thins out the deck, which you'd think we wouldn't have. Yeah, that's fine. Oh! That's fine. We'll take this. Take the Deadly Dispute. And actually, both of these cost 1 less now, so we could do both if we needed to. So let's go for the extra. No, it's fine. Let's see what they do. Okay, so they want to keep the Smelter. That's interesting. Let's just keep both of these open for their turn. Even though Deadly Disputes and stuff exist in their deck, we know that for a fact. I think this is fine. If it's anything that, like, yep, okay, perfect. So, Storyweave. 2 counters onto the Prowler. Nice. We still have Prizefight open, too. We don't want to do the Prizefight. Okay, they play the Synthesizer that they hit off the top. And they might go for another Voltage Surge here, guys. Soul Ripper, they still have 1 mana open. They want that Prowler to be gone. They go for a 3/1. Nice. What do they hit off the top with the Synthesizer? Dragon Spark Reactor. Very nice. They could full swing if they wanted to. Swing for 3, save it back. Swing for 2. They thought we were going to trade there with the 1/1. We're just going to go no blocks. Yeah, the deck feels weird, doesn't it, guys? It's like it's a weird one to play, but maybe that's just me. It might just be me, honestly. Okay, Turn the Earth is okay. It's alright. So we're going to start with the Prizefight here, since they're tapped out. And I think sending Prizefight back into our deck is going to be pretty good. They're going to go ahead and crew up. Yeah. That works. That totally works. That makes it so that way we can't swing in properly. Let's thin out the deck a little bit more before we turn the earth here. And this life gain has to be getting annoying. That's also an instant, by the way. So we're probably going to send Prizefight, Storyweave, and Jugan Defends the Temple back to the deck at instant speed. We can actually activate that twice if need be. We could swing with this and plug an extra counter into... No, that doesn't work. I mean, we could, but it dies pretty easily. Yeah, no attacks. The Soul Ripper crew actually surprised me there. It was a great play from the opponent. I wasn't thinking about that at all. Another synthesizer. My goodness. These synthesizers are pretty good. Smelter, nice. Yeah, opponent's playing some Rakdos artifacts, and it looks really good, doesn't it? It looks really fun. Gonna sacrifice Synthesizer, look for their Voltage Surge. Not like it helps them right now. They have one more mana. That Anvil would be amazing. Did they play a land this turn? They might just pass. We need better draws. Let's try to put some better draws back into the deck here. Prizefight, Jugan, Storyweave. Yeah, we thinned out the deck pretty well. We're now adding more cards, and we could do it again. Probably not worth it yet. Jugan, very nice. Okay, so double blocks into the Prowler is likely, but it could still be worthwhile, especially if we can take out that Soul Ripper. And the double block would be from this and this, depending on how they crew this, which would be with one of the smelters probably. Tough decisions, guys. Very tough decisions. I'm gonna swing in though. Yeah, I'm gonna swing here and see what the opponent does, because we could really start to run out of fuel here very fast. So we could go counter onto this one, so they actually have to trade. Get rid of their Voltage Surge from the grave. And then we will exile, let's see, we have an enchantment in our hand, but we don't need anything to cost less, so we'll just keep taking from their grave. That is a-okay. So yeah, they can crew up with one of their smelters, and then double block with the 3-1 and the Soul Ripper into the Prowler. And then they could trade with the smelter. Yeah, very... Oh, they go all in because we might have something in hand. Makes sense to me. So we have 5 power. Probably get rid of the smelter. They might just have something here too. We get 2 through. This is going to be an uphill battle for sure. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. So Jugan Defends the Temple comes down, and we have turn the earth open. Yeah, they have so many cards in hand. Is there going to be an easier... Is there any real good way for us to draw? I don't think I included any, did I? Uh-oh. So that's going to be something to mention when we go over the deck at the end here. Another smelter. Oh no, guys. That's the 3rd one. Opponent has really good cards that we're not getting over right now. So they can easily pay this, but they don't have others. They don't have any other artifacts to sacrifice, luckily. They do end up swinging. We're just gonna take it. No blocks. Because we obviously want 2 creatures to plug these Jugan counters into. We will turn the earth here. Oop, Boop, boop. Keep the lands in the grave. We're just trying to pack our deck full of goodies to draw. Or full of full of non-land cards, really, is what we want. But yeah, it happens. So we could keep this in hand. It's worth a swing. It's worth a swing. It's probably gonna be worth a swing. So we go right into the Kirin. Yeah, because they have to double block or sacrifice their Soul Ripper. You could also go Soul Ripper into the 2/2. Oh, that's pretty bad for us, actually. Oh, okay, no, they're changing. Okay, they want to trade. They're going trades here. We get the Jugan next turn. We're just going to keep the forest in hand because, yeah, it's not looking great. No artifacts, so they just get the swing here. The forest was really... oh my goodness, guys. I thought we thinned out the deck quite nicely. Getting a little unlucky here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, let's check. Let's check the statistics here. Still a 21% chance to draw forest. Only 10 remaining. So, I don't know. I thought we thinned it out pretty nicely. And we stacked a lot of good cards in there, but... yeah. They got their Oni cult too, so... We gotta see better draws. There we go. There we go. Oh, we could have plugged 6 counters into this. Oh well, we'll still plug 5. We'll still plug the 5, and we'll grab their other Soul Ripper. Or their Smelter. Probably their Smelter. We'll keep the forest in hand, I guess. An 8/9 Cemetery Prowler. They need some good spot removal or a bunch of chump blockers. Uphill battle. We're 47 minutes into the video. Can we get there, guys? They go ahead and get rid of the anvil. Get a couple 3/1s. Yeah, they have enough blockers. They go for the swing. Nice. We get rid of one of their smelters there. Sure, we take a lot of damage, but we have 10 damage on the board already. Cemetery Prowler has Vigilance, so... Unlicensed Hearse. Not too shabby. Take the Oni call. Boom! A big hit, guys. That's a big hit. Still have some blockers. They need to full swing and still have something in hand. Looks like they drew a lot of land too. Alright. So we are blocking for sure. Oh, we could... no, we couldn't. We didn't want to tap any of these down. It's fine to lose Jugan here, I think. Yeah, we don't want to take any damage here. So losing the Remnant is fine. Comes down to what's in their hand. If it's a chump blocker, they might have another turn here. If it's nothing, then it's nothing. Meat hook for 8! Oh no! Oh no, guys. The opponent's still in this. Oh no. Even with that extra forest, the meat hook would have hit for sure. They're back up to 6 and we get a Field of Ruin. Yep. Yep. This is not terrific. This is not terrific, guys. Field of Ruin's good to keep open if they have like a hive. But I'm also tempted to thin out the deck. Oh, they end up conceding. There it is, guys. Oh, man. 14-minute match, 5 wins in a row. Technically 4 if you don't want to count that first victory, like I said. But very nice. Underplayed green doing a thing over here in normal play mode. That was a fun time, guys. Ah, man. This deck was a little bit harder to play than I would have hoped. But overall, it performed. Cemetery Prowler is so good. Jugan's amazing. Willow Geist was awesome when we saw it. Deathbonnet was okay. It kind of had that thing, like I said, where we're taking so many cards from our graveyard. How often is Deathbonnet actually going to flip? But it's still worth having in here for the mill ability, so since so many other cards care about having cards in the graveyard. Voice of the Vermin did a thing until it died to a sacrifice ability. Storyweave was actually really cool, wasn't it? Oh man, guys, let me know in the comments what green cards do you think is underplayed, or do you have like a mono green build with a bunch of underplayed green cards in it? Like, let me know, guys. I'm super curious. Even like sometimes we come across a mono green aggro build and we're just like, oh, that's cool, like they're actually running Jewel Thief and stuff like that. So either way, if you made it this far into the video, y'all are champions and I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.